18 of Bible Mandela effects. If you're unfamiliar with Mandela effects, I recommend you watch the introduction to the series and watch the other sections leading up to part 18. We have several interesting Bible verses to talk about this week. Look at Genesis 3:7. This is talking about Adam and Eve. In the New International Version, then the eyes of both of them were open, and they realized they were naked, so they sewed fig leaves together and made coverings for themselves. The word coverings is what we're focusing on. If you look in the New Living Translation, it just says that they fig leaves together to cover themselves. It doesn't really say what they cover themselves with, just that they use fig leaves. But then in the English Standard Version, it says loincloths, that they made themselves loincloths. So now it says specifically what they used the fig leaves for to create loincloths. Berean Study Bible just says they covered for themselves. But then look at the King James Bible. And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. So it specifically says what they made. It calls it aprons. Now, I don't remember the word aprons. That was the big thing to me. In the other translations, you don't see the word aprons. It just says they covered themselves, maybe loincloths. So I thought that was unusual. So I wanted to look what the verse looks like in the original Hebrew. And this is what it looks like in the original Hebrew. And were opened wide the eyes of the two, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed leaves of a fig tree and made to themselves loincloths. So I looked up the word loincloths, and the word perieko comes up, which basically just means to surround themselves. So what it's saying is that they surrounded themselves to cover themselves. So it doesn't really say specifically what they made to surround themselves, that they use fig leaves, but the word apron or loincloth isn't there. So I thought that was interesting. I looked up the word specifically, the word loincloth or waistcloth. It's the word kagor. This is what it looks like. Now, as we go back to the original Hebrew, notice it's a short word. I don't know Hebrew myself, but when I saw that word and then I went back to the original Hebrew, and this is the word, it doesn't look at all the same. So it's not the same word. So to use the word apron in the verse seems strange, and I don't remember the word apron being in the Bible in that section, that they made coverings for themselves. In the King James Version is more what I remember. So seeing the word apron just sounded strange. So that's the first one. Next, let's look at 2 Chronicles 7:3, which says, in the New International Version, when all the Israelites saw the fire coming down and the glory of the Lord above the temple, they knelt on the pavement with their faces to the ground, and they worshipped and gave thanks to the Lord, saying, He is good, His love endures forever. And I don't remember the word pavement in the Old Testament. Pavement, you think of concrete, you think of a road. So the word pavement just sounded strange. But as you go down, you see it in other verses as well. Okay, pavement in the English Standard, Berean Study Bible, King James Bible, on the pavement. So I thought that was unusual. But I did also find it in John 19:13. Notice it's capitalized here. When Pilate heard this, he brought Jesus out and sat down on the judge's seat at a place known as the stone pavement, which in Aramaic is Gabbatha. So when I saw stone pavement, that looked unusual to me. And in doing research, I found in the Median Project this statement: the lithostratos refers to an ancient paved section of the Roman Forum built by Emperor Hadrian in the Old City of Jerusalem. The term lithostratos occurs only once in the entire Bible, in John 19:13. So here it's saying that the term occurs only once in the entire Bible, which was strange. So I went back to see what was the word that was used, and this is the word. When you look up the word stone pavement, it is the word lithostratos. So it's not capitalized like it was in John, but the term is used in another place in the Bible in this section. So I thought that was interesting that you had one uh, verse, one commentary saying that it's not used anywhere else in the Bible. But we do see it here. But I just don't remember pavement in the Old Testament. That just sounds like a modern word to me that just sounds strange to be in the Bible. Okay, so next, Psalm 72, verse 6. May he be like rain falling on a mown field, like showers watering the earth. Okay, so a mown field meaning a field that's been mowed. And you see the word here, freshly cut grass. Okay, may he be like rain that falls on the mown grass. Berean Study Bible, the freshly cut grass. And then the King James Bible, you see mown grass. I don't remember mown being in the Bible, but for me, just personally, I found this verse a year ago, and I remember wrote it down in my notes that in the King James Bible, it was spelled Mowned, as in it was past tense. And that's what I was focusing on, that it was mowned grass, grass that had been mowed, but it was spelled awkwardly. And then getting ready for the video series, I see the ED is gone. And I had specifically made notes to myself focusing on that, just thinking it sounded so strange. So I'm using this as an example of Mandela effects that aren't just changing once and then that's it. I think they're changing and they're rechanging and adapting. So it just sounded strange to me. It looked strange to see that. So I wanted to share that with you. Mown grass just sounds strange. Um, so I wanted to make that, give that to you as an example of a Mandela effect that for me just seems unusual. And then in Psalm 129, verse 7, a reaper cannot fill his hands with it, nor one who gathers fill his arms. So it's talking about a reaper, someone who gathers. Okay, a harvester in the New Living Translation. Reaper in the English Standard. Okay, reaper. The King James, wherewith the mower filleth not his hand, nor he that bindeth sheaves his bosom. So a mower is very different than someone who is a reaper. A reaper is someone who gathers, whereas a mower is someone who cuts. So I wanted to look up this verse to see what it was getting at. And in the original Hebrew, of which did not fill his hand the one harvesting, nor the one unto his bosom the sheaves collecting together. So the word collecting together, solego, meaning to collect or to gather. So that seems strange that in the King James Version the word was mower, which specifically means, when you look at the original word mower, it specifically says to cut. But in this verse that we're talking about, it specifically means to collect, to gather, not to cut, but to gather together. When you cut, you're cutting off parts of it and throwing it away. So I thought that was unusual. So this week we have some very unusual, strange Mandela effects that don't seem to work together. So I wanted to include these. And for me, the one we were doing just a second ago out of Psalms just really seems strange. Psalm 72:6. I remember specifically when I had seen it just a year ago, Mowned, and then for me to see that it's changed to mown like the other is very strange. Just wanted to share these with you.